Turning goals into something you can actually do. How to design work that actually moves you forward. You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. James Clear. I've written a lot lately about goals, but having a goal, even if it's a very clear one, is only part of the equation. What I'm writing about today, or talking about, is the framework that comes next. How you turn a goal into something you actually make progress on. When we were building my yearbook, our North Star was simple. We wanted to be the best place to meet new people. That idea guided everything we did. But it wasn't actionable on its own. To make it real, we had to break it down. If we wanted to build the best place to meet new people, we needed a lot of people, and we needed them to come back. We focused on daily active users and retention because they told us whether we were moving in the right direction. Step 1, get clear on what you can control and what you can't. Jason Feifer, editor-in-chief at Entrepreneur Magazine, shared that someone once told him that it was their goal to be on the cover of Entrepreneur. He said that was a bad goal because it is entirely out of your control. The cover is chosen based on whatever the magazine needs explicitly at a given time, and an outside person can't affect it. Similarly, you can't control whether an investor says yes, whether someone responds to an email, or even whether a specific user will like your new service or product. But you can control the inputs. This becomes obvious in cold outreach. You can't control whether the person you're emailing needs your service or whether they reply, but you can control how many people you contact and your messaging and targeting. Once you separate inputs from outcomes, the work becomes clearer. You stop spiraling about results and start focusing on what you can actually influence. Step 2, build a system around those inputs. It's easy to say, I want to do more outreach, or I want to get more speaking gigs. It's much harder to decide how that actually happens on a random day when you're tired. One of my goals this year is to do more speaking engagements. That means outreach, which I don't like. Instead of relying on motivation, I built a system. I carve out 2 20-minute sessions each weekday dedicated solely to outreach. On weekends, I spend a bit of time updating my spreadsheet with who I want to contact, who I've contacted, who's in progress, and which gigs are booked. It's not a fancy CRM, but it works for my purposes, and I love spreadsheets. At first, it was hard to get into the groove, but it's getting easier and easier. Having time set aside to do the thing means I'm not revisiting how to fit it in every day. Just like how my lifting workout doesn't happen unless I follow a routine, putting outreach into my routine gets it done. That's what systems do. They remove friction. Step 3, design your environment to support the system. Willpower is an unreliable strategy. If your system depends on you being disciplined, energized, and focused every day, it's going to break. Instead, the goal is to design your environment so the right action is the easy one. This applies everywhere, not just at work. If you want to eat healthier, you can't fully control cravings or stress, but you can control what food is in your house. That's an environment level decision that makes the habit easier without persistent self-control. The same idea shows up in work. We can use known tricks like habit stacking to help us get started on the things we don't like doing. Just like brushing my teeth is a trigger to wash my face, so too is my morning tea to get me started on my outreach. I'm taking a habit I already do and adding to it. Another way you can design your environment to rely less on willpower is by habit bundling. In my evening session, I usually watch something or listen to a podcast in the background, which makes the sessions pass quickly while still getting done. Step 4, use the system to diagnose, not judge. When something isn't working, it's tempting to label the entire effort a failure. Systems give you a better option, diagnosis. If people don't understand what you do, that's probably a messaging issue. If you're not getting referrals, it might be a follow-up issue, or it might mean the work itself needs to improve. If conversations stall after the first meeting, the pitch may need refinement. Not every part of the system needs to be perfect, but every part needs to be good enough to support the whole. The system gives you something concrete to adjust, rather than something vague to feel bad about. This makes it easy to maintain a growth mindset as you pursue your goals. A system that's too rigid will collapse the first time something goes wrong. We all will miss a day, get sick, or have a hectic week. If the system requires perfection, it's not a sound system. The goal isn't consistency at all costs, it's resilience. Stick with your system for a couple of weeks and pay attention to what works and what doesn't. then you can adjust it. Systems aren't static. They can evolve with you. Your North Star tells you where you want to go. This system and the systems you build from it determine whether you actually move. If you're feeling stuck, it's probably not because your goal is wrong. It's more likely that the scaffolding around it needs some redesign. And that's good news, because systems can always be rebuilt.